Welcome back to Turning Point Tonight, where we are charting the course of America's cultural comeback. It is time to check in with White House correspondent Monica Page, who is in the Rose Garden. She may be a little bit pixelated, but that's okay because she's on location, shuffling around. President Trump's supposed to speak in a little bit. Now, considering the timing of this recording, then, you know, it's things may have happened afterward. Monica, right now, tell us what's going on Liberation Day.
Hey guys, yes, happy Liberation Day. I'm here in the Rose Garden with a bunch of press. They're all lined up here. There's a ton of people here today, as you can see behind me. But President Trump is set to speak to a bunch of manufacturing workers, oil and gas workers as well. I mean, this is a big right now. There's about 25% tariff on steel and aluminum and auto parts right now, and cars in general. So we're probably going to hear a lot more. I mean, by the time you guys are watching this, you probably will hear a lot more from the president, but he has been doing a great job at keeping the details about this announcement under wraps. So we do not know what to expect. We don't know if he's going to choose all countries to put tariffs on, or just a couple or a handful. We don't know. I mean, aside from Israel and Vietnam, they have completely eliminated their tariffs as well. But it's going to be very interesting for sure. But it's a packed Rose Garden, as you can see.
Yeah, just looking around, it's fascinating to look at, and I know you got a little bit of a connection issue, but I think it's worth it. Monica, what's the feeling like? What's the mood there among kind of your other reporter colleagues who may or may not be as friendly to President Trump as we are?
Sure. I mean, it's pretty lively here in the Rose Garden. I mean, a lot of people are excited about this. This is something that was President Trump's campaign promise. I mean, these tariffs are going to bring in much more investment, which means much more sticky jobs, which means more spending power. And this is just a very big deal for a lot of people, especially those that work in the auto sector. They want more jobs. They want to, build the economy. They want to, bolster, all that they can do here in the United States. And bringing in these investments is massive. And it's going to, if the blueprint is simple. I mean, you're bringing in these tariffs on these different countries, then it could possibly lower our deficit. And I think that's a really good thing. And a lot of people are very excited about it, believe it or not. A lot of people have been saying to the Secret Service guys today, Happy Liberation Day. So, I mean, it seems like it is a very excited mood on the ground. Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be really, really interesting to see this play out. Smarter people than me are also confused as to, not confused, but just not knowing where this is going to go. Hopefully going to go, obviously, in the American people's favor, as obviously President Trump is aiming for. Monica, hey, the Rose Garden looks really cool, looks really packed. Hope you can elbow your way through there and get some good content, but appreciate you taking the time.
Yep. Thanks, guys.
Thank you. I want to get back to a discussion that I know we've had a ton of times, but it's worth reiterating, especially as numbers continue to come out. At the peak of border crossings or border encounters with the Customs and Border Patrol, at its peak, 2023 was 370,000 people in 1 month. In March, it is about 7,000 people. In other words, at its peak during the Biden administration, illegal immigration, border crossing encounters were up 500 or 5,000%, over 5,000%. Now, the question is, was the Biden administration and Alejandro Mayorkas incompetent, or were they lying? Let's bring our panel back in. Hayley and Morgonn are here to discuss this with us. Now, before you guys say anything, let me just, for no apparent reason, let me just read you something from federal law. The definition regarding the word treason is whoever, owing allegiance to the United States, levies war against them or adheres to their enemies, giving them aid and comfort within the United States or elsewhere, is guilty of treason. That is according to federal law. Just throwing that out there. Also, really quick before we have you comment, let's watch this clip of Alejandro Mayorkas. And I don't know, maybe he meets this definition.
Do you believe that right now there's a crisis at the border?
I think that the answer is no. The border is closed. The border is secure.
Is the border more secure under your leadership than when you started?
Congressman, the border is secure. We're executing our plan, and I've been very clear and unequivocal in that regard.
Yet we have effectively managed an unprecedented number of non-citizens. The border is secure. The border, we are working to make the border more secure.
Do you continue to maintain that the border is secure?
Yes, and we are working day in and day out to enhance its security, Congress.
Morgan, I want to get your take on this first, and also read that line again. Giving them aid, enemies of the United States, aid and comfort within the United States or elsewhere is guilty of treason. Is just gross incompetence that the Biden administration had 5,000% more border crossing encounters, or something else maybe?
Listen, the plan of border crossings for the Biden administration was they had no plan. And Mayorkas made this very clear, as he repetitively had to say, that the border is secure with absolutely zero proof to it. And I also think that right now, illegal immigrants who want to come into, or immigrants who want to come into this country illegally, fear the Trump administration because they actually are a promises kept, or promises made, promises kept administration, where we are deporting illegals every single day out of this country because they came here illegally. So I think the Biden administration should honestly look back at the last 4 years and see how much of a disservice they did to the American people every single day.
You know, I don't want to like throw around accusations or levy accusations of treason just willy-nilly, because I don't think that's responsible. But Hayley, at what point does that not kind of fit this definition of giving enemies of the United States aid and comfort within the United States, saying, hey, no, the border is totally clear, there's no problem, even though it's up 5,000%. Where are we falling on this?
So we know that there are thousands of migrants who are criminals. They're all criminals, but violent criminals, some of them gang members who have since been deported, thank goodness. But these are gang members who have committed horrific crimes against the American people. They have been afforded free flights. Not free, obviously, the American taxpayer is footing the bill for this, but the Biden administration will say, come on in, you're going to get free of charge flights. You get to stay in the Roosevelt Hotel in New York City. You get phones. Here's an app where you can access all these resources. To your point about treason, this fits the bill of the definition.
Yeah, it doesn't seem to not fit the bill. Again, just, throwing that out there for people to discuss on whether or not we're going to hold anybody accountable for the, in a lot of ways, invasion of the United States of America. One of the bigger political stories that I'm sure you're aware of and our viewers are sure aware of, as Charlie was live streaming last night with the Wisconsin election results, was unfortunately the Republican candidate didn't win. Now, the polling throughout the race was the Lib judge was 7% ahead, if not more, for even up to the day of the election. So obviously disappointing. Nobody's stoked about that. At the same time, Wisconsin's, interestingly enough, on their question 1, did, however, vote overwhelmingly 63% to 37% to have voter ID be codified in the state's constitution. Morgan, help me make sense of this, because you got your super lib woke judge who's possibly going to gerrymander some of the congressional districts, but then also Wisconsin is doing what I think is a very conservative but also just reasonable thing of saying, yeah, you need to show a photo ID when you vote, and now it's in the state constitution.
As much as the left continues to become more radical, I think that voter ID laws is becoming increasingly more popular within the Democrats because they see what has gone on in our country over the last 4 years. So while they still are probably fiscally more Democratic than conservative, they can still support some kind of law like implementing voter ID at the polls, which truly is common sense. So I think this is more of those Democrats that, maybe want a lefty judge in there. They don't want someone who has super conservative ideals, but they can get behind certain legislation that's conservative support. And I think this also continues to show how our country is continuing to move in a conservative, right-leaning direction, especially when it comes to certain issues.
Yeah, this one seems to be like a slam dunk across the board. Yeah, you probably should have to prove that you can vote before you vote. Hayley, so a lot was made during this specific election of Elon Musk, the richest man in the world, is spending millions of dollars in Wisconsin. And that's true, but at the same time, the libs spent just as much money, if not more. I probably should have had all the figures here, but $100 million was spent. That means, okay, so let's just say Elon spent $20 million. And again, that's, his money. He can do whatever whatever he wants with it. But okay, somebody spent $80 million. Why is it that for some reason conservatives are the one getting hit with the, wow, you're trying to spend money on elections or buy seats, when the libs are also spending massive amounts of money?
Well, it's because Elon Musk is their favorite scapegoat right now. And I've even seen some conservatives say, well, maybe we shouldn't have put Elon Musk out there to campaign in Wisconsin on Sunday ahead of the election. He can't be the favorite scapegoat of both sides. It's not Elon Musk's fault, to your point about fundraising. I mean, he could do whatever he wants with this money. He was even handing out $1 million checks to incentivize voting, in-person voting, if you will. I don't think this had really anything to do with Elon Musk. I think this had more to do with the fact that Trump's name wasn't on the ballot. And I think Republicans have to do a better job of getting excited about some of these local elections and state elections and Supreme Court elections, because they really do matter to put Trump's agenda across the finish line. And we failed short on this one.
Yeah, that is a big thing and going to be a big thing in the future, making sure the enthusiasm is still there, even if President Trump is not on the ticket. Hayley, Morgonn, thank you guys both so much for joining us. Really appreciate it. We'll have you back.
Thanks, Jobob.
Thank you. Coming up on Turning Point tonight, we've got a great clip from Alex Clark's Culture Apothecary podcast, produced by Turning Point, and also a crowd favorite, Woke Wednesday after that. Don't go away. We'll be right back after this.